Hello everyone, it's Jay here from the Training Court Podcast, a Pokemon TCG podcast bringing you anything and everything Pokemon TCG related. If you are looking for Pokemon TCG competitive decks ready to go, including GLC decks, please head over to pokedex4u.com. Pokedex4u has a variety of decks ready for sale, with each deck being fully customizable and bespoke to your needs. Use the code TrainingCourtTCG for 5% off your first order. Now let's get on to the episode. Hello everyone and welcome to the Training Court TCG, the podcast about anything and everything Pokemon TCG related. Jay here and welcome to another episode this week. This week I'm joined by my fellow co-hosts Andy, Al and Cath. Hello everyone, you right?
Hello.
Hello.
Well, another episode, another week of playing Pokemon TCG and some more news, some more sets, plenty to talk about, so let's get straight into it. So, we always kick off the episode with what we've been playing this week. I believe we're actually joined in person by one of our fellow co-hosts. Al actually made the trip over from Italy this past week, so we actually got to play some TCG in person. So I'm going to start with you, Al. What have you been playing this week? In person, finally.
So actually, it's not really changed. I've just been playing Gardevoir. Yeah, but the difference has been playing it in real life, and we'll talk more in depth, I guess, later. But we've been testing some Paldea Evolved decks via some proxies Andy printed off. So I've just tried an updated Gardevoir deck. And did you want me to go through that now, or did you want to save that for later?
No, we'll talk about that later when we talk about obviously Paldea Evolved, given that it is imminent. So, but I do know that you also went to your first league attendance of the year.
Yeah, actually, it did really well. It was wasn't a massive turnout though. I think there were only 12, but I came third, which I was quite happy with. I played Gardevoir EX, obviously. And I was going back and forth between, because I've been testing a lot, and I was going back and forth between the usual lineup, but then Mimikyu or Weirder, or that's just a third Gardevoir Shining Arcana. And in the end, I went with Mimikyu because I was kind of convinced that there were going to be Vulpixes, and there weren't any Vulpixes. But I did play. So my first game, I played in the mirror, and won. And then the second game I played against Lost Box Gudra, and he was very pleased with himself, putting his Gudra out and rolling iron. And I had my Mimikyu in hand, so I put the Mimikyu on, and I put about 10. He had 3 energies on, and we just counted, and I did about 360 damage. I only need to do 350. So Mimikyu came good there. And then he powered up another Gudra, and I just clawed my Mimikyu back, and I just did it all over again for the win. So yeah, and I won that one. And then I played against Phil. What's his?
Phil D'Souza.
Phil D'Souza, yeah.
Played against him and Jay played against him as well. And I guess Jay's going to talk about his experience. But my experience was exactly the same as his experience. He played Control, the Xander Control deck. I think it was pretty much down to a T. And he showed me half the cards he didn't use. So he basically bossed. I don't know anything about his deck. I didn't know anything about the control deck or how it works. I hadn't really researched it or looked at any of the games, so I wasn't prepared for what to do to the strategy. But in any case, he had me a while, and he just bossed up my Greninja at some point. I managed to break the lock at some point. Mawile means that you can't retreat, and I only retreat. I don't have any switch cards, so I did manage to boss and then retreat and then knock out a Pokemon. He just brought Mawile back, obviously, and then he bossed up my Greninja again. And I didn't have any out, so we just kind of just pass. And I know, Jay, you were going to give me some tips because you'd played him beforehand.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to take tips. I thought it'd be unfair, but it probably would have made it fair for me to know. That would have made it fair because yeah. So my downfall at one point I had 5 on the bench and I collapsed. He actually told me this is where I went wrong. I collapsed a Zacian, thinking, I'm not going to need a Zacian because all their Pokemon are like 100 HP anyway. And he said that I should have collapsed the Greninja and kept the Zacian because the Zacian is the one that can attack well. And I had a Manaphy on the bench as well for some reason. I think I started with it. And yeah, so I probably wouldn't bench Mew, Greninja, because he had the pot
Pot helmet.
Pot helmet, which means that it takes 30 less, which means that Mew's 30 attack won't hit ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have played it a lot different. But then after that, he showed me all these other cards that he said, well, I would have used this if you would have done that. And he had a milling card. I think it was Cravalanche. Do you know what? It's like
that's from Tyranitar, though. Yeah, as Cath said. No, I think he was using Misfortune Sisters.
No, he was using a water Pokemon, but it was an ice Pokemon. Crackerlaunch. Anyway, whoever's listening to this is probably shouting at the screen. And it mills your deck as well. And he was like, well, I would just mill your deck because I only had about 10 cards left. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, I came third. Lost 1-2 and lost 1. So yeah, I was happy.
Yeah, no, it was good to play, obviously, in real life with you. And also, I mean, the main thing for us, well, the one thing I would like to know is you obviously played a lot on live, and this is your first time playing Guardy in real life. Is it better in real life, or is it better?
I always say, because I play mostly on live, and I always say when I come to play in real life, like, oh my God, it's so different. It wasn't really like it didn't feel. I didn't feel different. I didn't feel like I was having to. The only thing is that it doesn't tell you what abilities you need to use, but I just use the ability counters or like the damage counters or whatever, not like poison or whatever. And I didn't really. It ran the same, like apart from the game that we pre-tournament where I bricked, but I bricked before on live, and it pretty much ran the same as how I'd practiced it. So I was like, yeah, I played exactly the same as how I play on live when I'm playing well, and when the deck's running. I think this is the most consistent that I've managed to make it. I don't run nest balls, but I do run 4 VIP passes, 4 fog crystals, 2 ultra balls, and 4 level balls. I've got enough, I've got enough surge. So yeah, and probably the most like the MVP of the deck are rescue carriers and Claras, because I just always have Curliers, because no matter what, I'm just getting the Curliers and the Routes back, and then on the next turn I'm evolving one of the Routes, and then I've got another Routes there, and the next turn I'm evolving another Routes. Like I've just got a unlimited. I've got 4 cards that can get them back, but almost unlimited supply of Curliers, just getting them back. Yeah, I would definitely recommend. I recommend Clara over Miriam, because just getting them back into your hand and pop them on the bench is evolving them is really good. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so then moving.
To go back to it was Crabominable.
Yeah.
It's Trigger Avalanche. It's discard the 2 for 1 energy. It discards the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. So he just needed to basically do that to mill out. But he had, honestly, I mean, like I said, obviously I won't dwell on it too much longer, but it is pretty much, I think it was 1 card away from Sanders' deck, which made, obviously, I think top 50 in the UIC. And he had everything. Even the thing is, though, even if you got rid of Greninja, if you collapse Stadium Greninja, he actually was running a promo version of Manaphy, which has, for one water energy, has put the move Pulling Currents, where your opponent reveals their hand and put up to 2 basic Pokemon you find there onto your opponent's bench. Yeah. So he could just basically do that and then boss it up again. So he had so many outs. I think, obviously Rotom V, Yveltal from Celebrations, Grommelin Weil, Manaphy, I can't even pronounce it, Pumukumaku. That's it. Miltank, Dittos. Yeah, and then obviously cards that I'd not seen in play for a long time, such as like Ace Roller's Premonition. When have you ever come across Ace Roller's Premonition?
Mm-hmm.
For everyone out
there. When you play Mimikyu?
Well, yeah, basically. Well, do you know what it does? You do know what it does, don't you? Ace Roller's Premonition.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
so doesn't it?
You take a look at your opponent's cards, your hand.
Yeah, and then you draw a card for each trainer you find there. Yeah. So if you think that the Guardy deck already has a ridiculously stupid hand most of the time, and then if we're just passing as well, I mean, he did it to me, and I think I had about 12 trainers in hand, and he just drew 12.
Like, so that's supporter items.
Yeah, just a trainer card. Yep. So it's just absolutely busted. Teams yells cheer. It has every out. And like I said, the Guardian deck doesn't play Switch. Same with the Lugia deck. So I think that's where it does really, really well. So
I'm probably going to put an escape rope for like as a last, because sometimes you do get stuck, even when you're not against a control or a Vulpix, you put too many energies on, and then maybe they do 300 damage to your Guardi or 290 damage to your Guardi. They boss it up. You can't accelerate because you can't do more than 20. So sometimes you do get stuck. So I think an escape rope is a good idea in a Gardevoir deck. I think it is.
No problems at all. That's good. Right, so then moving on, Andy, what have you been playing this week?
Other than what we played the other day, not much. So on Saturday, obviously, we got together to try out some of the new decks from Paldea Evolved, and I played the Chien Pao. I really like it. It's one I'm most looking forward to when the new set comes out. I've got it pretty much built with proxies, just waiting for the actual cards now. It took a couple of games to start getting used to it and what I should do for certain matchups. Playing against Gardevoir was pretty tough. I think the games with Alex did test the deck a bit. But other than that, it looks like it's going to be pretty strong.
Yeah, no, it really does. Yeah, we'll obviously talk about that shortly, because we will be doing kind of like a preview almost of Paldea Evolved. Okay, fair enough. Cath, have you been playing much this week?
No.
Okay.
No, I've been on dog duty. So didn't get any games on Saturday, which was fine. Just busy.
Yeah, no problems at all. Hopefully we'll have you back for some games shortly, as and when Puppy is able to stay on his own, or you get some babysitting services. Sure, I'm sure there's people you can call who probably owe you for you doing babysitting services.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can think of one straight away. Okay, well, yeah, as Alex alluded to, we went to Fanboy and we played in the league. I played Gardevoir for the first time. Really, really enjoyed it. Really liked it. Again, I really want to. I do think it's one of the best decks in format. I don't enjoy playing Lost Box, and I enjoyed playing Guardi. Again, the only downside was playing Phil's deck, because I actually set up perfectly. You can't even. I had 2 Battle VIP passes and Nest Ball and the routes to start with in my opening hand. You can't start any better than that. So, yeah.
What did you play? Sorry.
I played Guardi. Guardi. Yeah, so I've built Guardi, and it's a bit different to Alex's. It's a bit different to Todd's as well. But we've got there's a league challenge cup on Fanboy on the bank holiday Monday coming up. So I'm going to go to that, and I'd most likely be playing Guardi, which potentially shouldn't have said, because now people are going to tech for it. So watch out, Dark. There's going to be loads of Darkrai decks. But yeah, we also did play some tabletop gameplay. I played Meowscarada EX. Bit interesting. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties. So the actual matches, unfortunately, between Meowscarada and Gardevoir didn't record, apart from one where it bricked. So that's not the best advert for the Meowscarada deck. However, we played, I think, 5 games.
Yeah.
I think we played 5 games, and I think it was quite even, to be fair. I think the Gardevoir won 2, Meowscarada won 2. Quite an interesting deck. So again, we'll probably no time like the present. So should we do a little preview of Paldea Evolved, given that we have now played some of the decks, we've seen some of the cards, so, and obviously see how it impacts. Obviously, Guardi is one of the most popular decks at the moment. Alex played with a Paldea Evolved version of Guardi, with some obviously items and energies from Paldea Evolved. As Andy mentioned, he played Chien Pao, used a lot of cards from Paldea Evolved, mainly the Chien Pao and the Baxcalibur, which unbelievable combo. And then I played Meowscarada, which there wasn't many other cards actually, to be fair, that I used from Paldea Evolved apart from Iono, and Faulkner as well was quite a good card. But yeah, there was some interesting cards, interesting games. So I think obviously the one that most people are going to be excited for is the Chien Pao deck. And Andy, Al, do you want to kind of discuss, obviously, again, we're going to release a video of it, so we will obviously notify you when the video's out. But do you want to discuss how you felt the game ran? So from Chien Pao's perspective, Andy, how did it run? Kind of what did you use to, support it, and how did it run? What would you make? Would you make any changes, or basically what are your thoughts piloting it for a couple of hours?
So the first game I played, and I don't know if that was because of me being new to the deck, it kind of bricked, and I was struggling a bit. But second game, it flew. Was able to get stuff down pretty quick. Get Baxcalibur going. The one thing that I would probably change is I play Palkia. And I play a one line of Palkia V-Star, and I'll probably just take that out. So the list I played, it was 3 copies of Chien Pao, a 3-1-3 line of the Baxcalibur, mainly using rare candies to get the Baxcalibur out as quick as possible. Then the 1-1 of Palkia, the obviously Greninja, Manaphy, Luminion for support search, and then I played Kyogre from Crown Zenith. So that one is pretty good actually. So for one colourless, it's wave summoning. You search your deck for an water energy, attach it to Kyogre, then shuffle. But then dynamic wave, it's 3 water and a colourless. It's you put 3 energy attached to the Kyogre back to your hand, and it does 180 to one of the opponent's bench Pokemon. Well, just 180 to any of your opponent's Pokemon, which is pretty good.
I never saw you use it though. I think I used it actually when I.
Yeah, no, it is good, but I was trying to mainly just go with the Chien Pao for attacking. Another one is what I've learned is use Greninja as soon as possible, as soon as you can.
It's so easy to power it up, isn't it?
Yeah. With Excalibur, you just 3 energy and go. And then it was for stadiums, it was Skaters Park, because obviously when you retreat that one, when you retreat a Pokemon, you put the energy back to your hand. One thing I would change is probably the number of energies, because I found I was just going through them like no tomorrow.
But I guess you'd switch. You'd take out the Palkias, like the 2 cards, and you'd put another super energy.
Another 2 energy in, yeah. The gift energy, it plays 2 gift energy, and I might just take them out.
Yeah, maybe replace them with water or something. Or...
Yeah. That's it really. The other staples were the superior energy retrieval, rare candies for the Excalibur, 2 copies of Iono, Clara, and Irida. I had a pretty good play with Lost Vacuum as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I'll talk about I'll talk about my deck, and then you can. Then it'll make.
I'm not gonna. I'll just leave that for the video. Watch the video.
Yeah, definitely so. Yeah, I mean, the list. Obviously, I was spectating. The list, I thought it played really well. I thought there was some good plays in there. I think getting the superior energy retrieval is just really, really good. And to be 100% honest, if you start if you're turn 1 and you get 2 even 1 or 2 Frigibacks on the bench, next turn you can Irida for Rare Candy in the back to Caliber and start accelerating, linked with Chien Pao's ability, whereby Chien Pao lets you get 2 in hand from the deck. You superior energy retrieval if you've got any in the bin, very similar to like Gardevoir. When you get it in the bin, get super energy retrieval, and then a Irida for the Baxcalibur and Rare Candy. You can hit some serious numbers on your turn 2. It's pretty impressive. It is really, really impressive. So
the Palkia did save me at one point.
Yeah, in the first game, wasn't it?
No, it's the second game. Game.
Yeah, well, obviously we'll definitely leave that for the video. But it's definitely clear to see why Chien Pao is going to be. It's going to be a broken deck. That's going to be huge, isn't it?
Maybe put in like Kyurem and like so many water Pokemon that are just really, really. Gyarados EX. I forgot what it's done, but I remember it having a massive energy.
Yeah.
If it's got any damage counters on it, it doubles. Yeah, it takes 5 energy, and I think it does 180. And then if you've got any damage counters on it, it does an extra 180. So I think 360. I'm only just remembering off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure.
Is it Tyrannical Wave or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Pokemon already has any damage counters. This attack does 180 more damage.
Yeah,
I'm sure
so 360.
I'm sure there's something that can put some damage counters on for you from the bench or something.
Rad Alakazam. Oh no, Rad Alakazam moves your opponents. Yeah, maybe Gabe Jawbog. So when you manually attach an energy, it gets 20 damage, and then put it into the active, and then Baxcalibur up all those energy to it, and it can hit for 360. It's pretty impressive, and it's got a nice health pool. Obviously, it's a stage 1, which is probably the main negative against it. But it hits hard, and there is so many water Pokemon. Water is such a strong type, isn't it? And it's going to be interesting to see how, I know there's a lot of people out there that are much better at deck building than us, and they come out with all these Pokemon out of nowhere, to become the meta. And you just, like you said, the Kyogre was a good shout from Crown Zenith. You've got the you've got even Empoleon, you've only put Empoleon out, and then you can, stall whoever is in, for example, if it's a Lost Box, you can stall them, and then, it's pretty impressive, and then you can just pivot, really, attack and pivot, and it's got loads of opportunities, loads of play, and I definitely think it's got the most busted combo in a long time, since Archeops and Lugia.
Yeah, I think that if you do pair it with the Gyarados EX, it can do 360, and pair it with, it's not going to be for a while, but the Starmie that's coming out with 151, where you put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, then you shuffle it into your discard, or put it in your discard. That combo when just putting 5 energies from Baxcalibur, that's going to be ridiculous, I think.
Definitely so. So, okay, Al, you've waited long enough. Do you want to talk about Gardevoir a bit more?
Yeah. We've moved on from Lost Box, and now it's Gardevoir. So I played. So my Gardevoir list was pretty standard, except for the new Paldea Evolved cards. So I play, apart from what you normally do with the Gardevoir, which is the 4 outs, 4 earlier. I played 2 Shining Arcana and 2 EX. I played 2 Drifloons, so my strategy was using the charm from Paldea Evolved to put onto the Drifloon to make its HP 120. Therefore, if I'm putting 100 damage counters on, then I can do, I can't remember what the math was. I think it's 300.
10 damage counters.
I put 10 damage. Yeah, 100. Yeah, I put 100 damage on 10 damage counters, and I'm doing 300 damage. So that was my plan, and I also had 2 reversal energies in, which actually I didn't really think. I played 10 psychic energies and 2 reversal energies. Usually you at least play 11 psychic, but the reversal energy was really I didn't expect it.
It did come in handy a couple of times, didn't it?
Yeah, I always go down in prizes, always.
So do you want to just for the listeners out there that aren't aware, what's the name of the charm? What does it do? And also, what does the reversal energy do? Sorry.
So the reversal energy, I'll do that first. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides colorless energy. But if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and if the card is attached to an evolution Pokemon, doesn't have a rule box, it provides every type of energy and 3 at a time. So it's basically three energy at a time, which Gardevoir means you're doing an extra 90 or 150 at base. So I was attaching a reversal energy at the beginning, just first turn or second turn, and then I was attaching another reversal energy. I was having 6 without any damage counters, without any acceleration. It was because I was going down prize cards, because obviously other decks take prizes quicker than Gardevoir. So it was really good. It was solid, really good. And Shining Arcana Gardevoir can sometimes struggle to take out VMAXs, because the most you can do damage is 270. Really, if you're attaching, I mean, obviously you've got an unlimited if you're attaching, but usually you attach per turn and then you put 6 on, which takes it to 120, and then you're doing 270. So so it did struggle. So the reversal energy, I would definitely be playing that in Paldea Evolved. But I really wanted to try out the Drifloon with the it's called the Charm of Courage, and it's basically like Cape of Toughness. The basic Pokemon gets plus 50 HP, so it's only for basics. So you put it on Drifloon, it gets you 120, and now put in energies from Gardevoir, you can get it up to 100 damage, 10 damage counters. Drifloon does 30 damage per damage counter, so 300 damage. And there was a funny. I mean, I guess you can get what Andy was doing with his deck, with his Lost Vacuum, but that's something that I have to watch out for, being Lost Vacuum. But it was really good, and it's so useful. Again, Rescue Carrier, so useful to you do your big attack, you get knocked out because you've only got 20 HP, but you rescue carry it back in, and you don't have to revolve your Curlies. You don't have to find your rare candies to revolve a routes into a Gardevoir to get that back in, or you don't have to risk putting a 2-prizer like Clawing back as Zacian or Mimikyu EX or whatever you're using with you can just get back a little 70 HP Drifloon, and even at base you're doing 180, which is like Snorlax is 180, and that's a Pokemon that sees play. So even at base, like 180 is a good number to do. So I mean, you could even stick a Choice Belt or the other, what's the other one from this?
Defiance.
Charm of Courage.
No, Defiant. Like you can have the charm, and maybe you don't have another one. Maybe you could put Defiance Man or something. I don't know. We didn't try it out, but I thought it went really well, and I think I was at a bit of a unfair advantage when I was playing against you, Andy, because you hadn't played the deck before, but I'd played Gardevoir quite a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've been smashing it for months on the ladder.
Definitely.
I thought that it went. I thought that it ran really, really well. Played the Cresselia as well, which is always useful. But I really liked, and I was surprised by the reversal energy. I knew that Drifloon would be good. Wasn't expecting. I mean, I obviously I knew that was the case with Lost Vacuum, but it didn't go through my mind that would happen.
Well, also you didn't know I was playing it though, did you?
Didn't know you were playing it. Yeah. I think a lot of decks play it. Mew plays 4 of them. Lugia plays them. Obviously, Xbox plays them. So it's going to be. You have to watch out. You have to watch out. So I don't know if it is a playing.
Especially if you've got like 2 with charms on, loaded up with damage.
If you take one of them off when it doesn't have damage counters on, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's annoying, but
like two.
I don't know if I would play it, to be honest, because it's too risky to, get you put your damage counters on and then get lost back, and the opponent takes 2 prizes. It's like a Dialga V-Star like every turn. So
you'd have to probably collapse one away before you attacked with another one. If you had to.
Collapse the Drifloon away.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, it's really cool, and obviously there's actually some really good energies coming out in Paldea Evolved. Obviously, Alex mentioned the reversal energy. There's also therapy energy, which is coming out, and then there's also the jet energy, which is coming out, which are seeing a lot of play over in Japan. I think the jet energy, for reference, when you attach it to your bench Pokemon, you basically switch that into the active, so that would have helped against Sanders' deck. You would have just attached it
from hand.
I believe so. That's a good question. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Just because
Lugia
seems to be getting back some top class special energies here.
Yeah, well, it is doing well. Yeah, when you attach your card from this hand to a bench Pokemon, switch that Pokemon with your active. So yeah, you need it. So it's a good pivot. Then obviously the therapy energy is really good, because that again is another one that Lugia is benefiting from. So therapy energy is, I believe, as long as this is attached to a Pokemon, it can't be put to sleep, I believe, or confused.
Or poisoned.
So if you think about the unfazed fat Snorlax, that all of a sudden in a Lugia matchup, that hits really hard. So it hits, does it hit 180 base?
Yeah.
It's 180 base damage. You could potentially put a choice belt on it as well. If you're playing against Vs, it can hit 180 for no downside, and it's a single prizer. So that's starting to see some more play in Japan due to therapy energy. So there's really some interesting, because I think obviously has there been any? I don't think there's been any so far. Has the special energy released in Scarlet and Violet?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
So obviously, Lugia has been relying on lots of the old ones, V-Guard, Gift, Double Turbo. So it's good to see some more options coming out there, and also to see how it's going to play and help obviously other decks. As mentioned beforehand, I played Meowscarada. Fortunately, you won't see the video of that. However, I can say that it's a fun deck, but I don't think it's a very consistent deck. The basis of the deck was really getting out your Meowscarada. So get out your Meowscarada EX, and it has the ability where if you discard one grass energy, you're able to put 2-3 damage counters onto one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So that can be done once per turn per Pokemon. So the idea is you get 2 or 3 Meowscarada EXs up on your active and your bench, and you can just start basically hitting 30 to your opponent's bench. Pair that with Radiant Alakazam, you can move them around. I think I had some good plays where I was able to take, I took 4 prize cards in one go against the Guardi due to damaged Pokemon. Fortunately, it wasn't recorded, but it was a really good play. But it sounds better than it actually is, because there's the inconsistency of actually getting 2 or 3 Meowscarada EXs up online on your side. It's difficult, obviously. They take out, if you're missing the rare candies and you're evolving from the Sprigatito to the Florigato. Yeah, I know Pokemon. Florigato. And then, I mean, Alex, when I was playing it, you bossed it up, and you also killed it. It's a 90 HP Pokemon. It's all of a sudden it struggles. I did play Hisuian Lilligant V and V Star with it, so the V lets you draw more cards or to get some energy for no attack cost, and then the V Star's ability lets you get any combination of 5 grass Pokemon or energies from your deck into your hand. So again, quite handy to get your hand loaded up, especially if you've got a couple of Meowscaradas. But realistically, it struggled. The stadium I used was Artisan. Again, another new stadium in Paldea Evolved, where that once per turn lets you get a basic Pokemon from your deck and put it into your hand. That was handy to start getting up, but again, it got bumped a lot of the times, and then when you needed it, it was bumped most of the time. Or if you're basically drawing loads of stadiums and it's there. The other, like I said, Iono, that was mentioned. Andy mentioned Iono. Again, used it a couple of times, but again, you need to be you need to be behind in the prize race to really help you. Otherwise, it's just going to be helping you. If if you've both got 6-6 prizes, it's not really helping anyone, but it may potentially disrupt your opponent. And then the other one was Faulkner, which allowed you basically to draw 2 cards, and if you have a stadium in play, draw an extra 2. So it's a hop on steroids, basically. But it's surprisingly helpful when you're in a bit of a pinch. So really, I liked it. It was a really nice deck. It also paired with the barrel, and I paired the barrel with the Squavets. So all of a sudden you had that, extra draw. But again, for me, it was inconsistent. I'd need to play with it more, but it was good to have something a bit different rather than, the Chien Pao or the normal Gardevoir decks. The other ones we want to try are Ting Lu. It's the Ting Lu deck. We did print off the proxies, but we didn't get a chance to have a game of that, so we've got those to try again. And we also printed off, I think, the Skeledirge EX deck as well. So we've got some more options, and hopefully we'll be able to play them at some point and have some more opinion, get some videos out and let you know our opinions on that. But overall, pretty excited for Paldea Evolved. I'm looking forward to it. It's like I said, we spoke last time and we said, I can't believe it's the new set already, but I feel like I'm ready for it because all I come across is Miraidons and Miraidons, Lost Box, Gudra and Gardevoir. So yeah, I'm looking forward to some Ting Lus and Chien Paos and all those decks coming out. So
what do you think will be the best deck in format next set?
I think it's got to be Chien Pao. Agree, Cath. The numbers you can hit.
Still.
The numbers you can hit for no downside. The numbers you can hit for no downside.
Well, you can't attack.
The downside is that you have to
retreat.
You have to set it up.
You have to set it up. But I'm not being funny. If you
the setup's pretty easy to be fair. If you can get one or two, if you can get at least one VIP pass, then you'll fly.
Depending how much energy you can get in the discard as well, and how many superior energy retrievals you play, realistically, you get 2 energies from the deck from Chien Pao's ability. You can pivot and then use the next Chien Pao's ability. So if you use a switch, you can then get the next one. So you've got 4 in hand. If you've got any in the discard as well, you can discard 2 to 2 other cards to get 4 energy into hand. I say energy, and it does 6 times the amount that the 60 times the amount of energy that you discard. It doesn't also, I think the good thing as well is it doesn't all have to be loaded onto Chien Pao. You can spread that so that you've got ready. You can actually make sure you've got an attacker ready for next turn.
Yeah.
Or you've got the energy to retreat, and you hopefully if you've got an energy retrieval, you can get it back. I think the fact that you can load it anywhere and discard from any Pokemon is also busted as well. So I think Chien Pao's going to be busted.
Do you think that it has a finite number of times that it can attack though? Because towards the end of the game, once you've kind of gone through your energies and it's all in the discard, maybe you've prized a superior energy retrieval, maybe you've used them all. I
did on the third game. I did on the third game.
Yeah, I think that is always an issue with a deck that causes you to discard but doesn't have any synergy with the discard.
That's why I played Palkia.
Yeah.
For the V-Star.
But again, that's just getting 3, and it's only for once in a game.
And Clara as well.
Ideally, you'd want Batcalibur would do it from the discard, like Gardevoir, I suppose. Because you discard.
But then you kind of lose the synergy with Chien Pao's ability.
Yeah, with the Chien Pao, Batcalibur synergizes with Chien Pao's ability, but is there anything that synergizes with the fact that Chien Pao is discarding energy? Because once you discard the energy,
you use Raihan Melanie. You've obviously Raihan Melanie. I'd probably say is probably the best one. Melanie and energy superior energy retrieval as well.
Yeah, I suppose,
you've got all those ways of getting those energies back into your hand. I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be an issue, but yeah, no, it's really interesting. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to Paldea Evolved. By the time this recording goes out, we'll be 3 weeks away from pre-release, which is scary because it literally feels like we were doing pre-release only a couple of weeks ago for Scarlet and Violet, and then 5 weeks. 5 weeks from today, it will be out as well. So be ready to get ready to start building all those decks again. Be interesting to see what comes out. And it definitely will be interesting to see what comes out. So, okay, well, moving on then to look at the future. There's even more stuff coming out post Paldea Evolved. So as we've been discussing quite a few times, Pokemon card 151, which is coming out in Japan in June the 16th, is a special holiday set. We've not got the English name yet. However, we accept it will most likely be our holiday set for fall. Obviously thanks to Poke Beach as well, they've released and some of the cards that are actually going to be out. So the first ones are the Venusaur EX, Charizard EX, Blastoise EX. So as you can see, the first one really that we need to talk about is the Venusaur EX. Obviously a stage 2 card, a nice chunky 340 HP. Look at that retreat cost as well. 4 retreat cost.
Wow.
So
chunky boy.
Chunky boy, definitely, yeah. So Venusaur, yeah, it's got the ability Soothing Bloom, which is once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active Pokemon, you may heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon.
That's again, a tanky tank, isn't it?
It is a tanky tank. It is a tanky boy. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Grass hasn't been prevalent for a long time, unfortunately. We've had Zarude, we've had Shaman, we've had a couple of good grass Pokemon, but you just never really see a grass deck being prominent. Yeah. Obviously, maybe the fact that Gardevoir is so prominent is going to be, and I know that Darkrai Turbo is quite good in this meta. Maybe we might see that, but again, it's just a chunky boy, and it's getting it to stage 2 again. Although that doesn't seem to be a problem with Gardevoir and Baxcalibur. So anything is possible. The Bulbasaur and Ivysaur, nothing massive to write home about. Nothing significant. But moving on to everyone's favorite fire-breathing dragon, you've got Charizard EX with a whopping 330 HP and only a 2 retreat cost. Its ability is Resolute Wings, 60 plus damage for one. Oh, sorry, it's not that ability. Sorry, its attack for 1 fire energy is Resolute Wings, 60 plus damage. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, this attack does 100 more damage, so 160 for 1 fire energy. And then you've got the Detonating Vortex for 4 fire energy, which is 330 damage, but you discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Realistic, it hits hard. It definitely really hits hard, but in a world where Chien Pao is going to be so powerful, is it going to be significant? It'll obviously be for the collectors, 100%, but for the actual players, I mean, Charizard, obviously, I think Radiant Charizard's the biggest one that's had the most play. There was a Charizard V-Star deck knocking around at one point last year. Again, that does hit, Charizard V-Star does hit hard, but it's nothing like the. It's just I think the fact that there was Palkia and then now there's going to be Chien Pao. I just think it's not going to do anything.
It always seems like when fire gets a good card, water's just always better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Until grass becomes meta, I think fire is still not very relevant. Yeah.
Do you think grass is going to be meta though?
Exactly. No. That's what I'm saying. Like until grass becomes meta, like I don't think you'll see many. You won't see many fire decks. I don't think. Like Arcanine's not really seen much play. It's not great to be honest, anyway. But
so just for reference, sorry, I mentioned the V-Star, the Charizard V-Star against the EX. Charizard V-Star, which is only essentially it's a stage 1. It's a stage 1 Pokemon. It has to evolve from a Charizard V. It's got 50 less HP, but it does explosive fire for 3 energy, which is 130, and if this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, attaches 100 more, so 230 for 3 fire energy, and then for 4 energy, Star Blaze, and that's 320, and that's just a power. So obviously you have to use your power, but
and you can
they've always hit hard.
The Charizard from Pokemon Go to power him up.
Exactly. Yeah. The Pokemon Go Charizard. I saw that someone was using that in Fanboy as a rogue deck when we were testing beforehand. So yeah, it does really good. But again, that's a stage. If do you really want to be loading up two versions of? I suppose you do it for Guardy, don't you? Do you run 2 versions of Guardy? Why not 2 versions of Charizard? One for the. Yeah, I think maybe it could be good. Just think water.
The 2 versions of Guardy, one's a 1 prizer and one's a 2 prizer. Like you're running Charizard EX and the Charizard V-Star.
No, sorry, we're talking about the Pogo Charizard.
Oh, sorry.
Energy Accelerant. So if you type in Charizard Pogo, you'll see that it's got the ability where you're able to.
Yeah, it lets you, when you attach 1 fire energy, it counts for 2, I think.
That's right. Yeah. So each basic fire energy, it basically doubles. So if you think that it needs, is it 4? The Charizard EX needs 4. You just need 2 energies attachments. So maybe an energy attachment and then a Raihan. Oh, sorry, it's 5, isn't it? Sorry. Yeah, it's 5, isn't it? So, oh no, 4. No, it's definitely 4. Yeah, sorry. 4, yeah. So if you think, if you've got that Charizard, the Pogo Charizard on the bench, and you attach return and then do a Raihan, if you got it knocked out beforehand, you can do 330. Which is pretty mental, but again, stage 2. But they seem to be really pushing the stage 2s. But yeah, and we will definitely see. But again, it's with Chien Pao. I think it won't be. It'll be too. Yeah, it's a big hitter. It hits, doesn't it? Regardless, so we'll see. But then moving on to everyone's favorite water Pokemon from Pokemon Blue, you've got Blastoise EX. So Blastoise EX, again, chunky boy, 330 HP, 3-star retreat cost. This one does have an ability. So the ability is Solid Shell. This Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks. And then the attack is 2 water energy for Twin Cannons, which is 140 damage. And discard up to 2 basic water energies from your hand. This attack does 140 damage for each card discarded this way. So again, put this in with the Baxcalibur.
It's actually pretty good. That
it's actually very good. If you do what 3 energies. So if you do 2 energies, it's 280.
Yeah.
If you do 3 energies, it's 420, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also
really easy to get. Melanie attachment for turn, and then maybe 1 Baxcalibur. That's mental, and it takes 30 less.
It's doing 280, which knocks out a lot in the like basically all stage 1.
All V-Stars.
And EXs that are stage 1 EXs usually 270, 280.
Yeah.
It's knocking out pretty much everything that isn't stage 2 or VMAXs.
But well, if you think though that you can get 1 energy attachment for turn, you could potentially Melanie from the discard for 1, and then if you can use Baxcalibur and you've got 3 more energies in hand, that's 700 damage.
Yeah.
That's
it's from your hand as well.
It's
yeah.
Overkill.
Yeah. Yep. So I think Blastoise will be very good.
Yeah. With Chien Pao,
very good. Start up to 2 basic. Where are we getting 700 damage?
So it's basically the same. It's Blastoise EX is the same as Chien Pao EX, but on steroids. So basically, where Chien Pao has 60 damage and time, but then obviously the amount of water energy you discard is 60 times. For Blastoise, it's the same, but 140 times.
Is discard
up to 2.
Oh right. Oh, so you can't. Oh right. So you can't actually discard as much as you want. No, that'd be too broken, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I was thinking, and I was like, imagine just doing 700 damage.
Like 1,400 damage.
Exactly. You'd do it for the lols, wouldn't you?
It's good at damage output for.
Yeah, that's.
For 2 energy, 280.
So you're knocking out all stage 1s basically.
Yeah.
And V-Stars. But also,
sorry everyone, I messed up. I read it wrong, and I was already on the
TTC.
I was already on the Blastoise hype, going, "Oh, I'm going to be maining this deck. It's going to be the best thing ever." It still will be good. Stage 2 is an issue, but again, we're seeing more and more that stage 2 isn't as much of an issue, and just rare candy is so prevalent now. So, especially water decks where you've got Irida, which can go and literally on your turn, you can literally go and get the next Pokemon, and you can get the rare candy. It's absolutely mental. So yeah, it's good. It's good.
And the ability as well, taking 30 less damage from attacks means it's basically got 360 HP, and then you put on something like a pot helmet or something, or the pot helmet takes another you take another 30 less, right?
Can you put the
It has to be non-rule box, doesn't it?
There's something else I'm pretty
can you
sure.
put the Charm of Courage on?
No, it's only basic.
Basics, yeah.
Basic, right.
There must be something else, and yeah, I guess maybe you even put a Gardevoir on the bench, and then you take another 20 less, or then you take 50 less.
Radiant Gardevoir.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Or like I'm sure, I can't think of what way there is, but I'm sure there's a way.
How much less damage does it need to take? It's already got 330 HP.
The thing is, though, one Miraidon can take that out.
Can EXs use what's it called? V-Guard.
Yeah, it stops. Yeah, it can, but it just stops attacks from Pokemon. Pokemon V.
Yeah, they're still in the game, though, aren't they?
They are still in the game. Yeah. But the thing is, though, that's what I'm saying. If you've got Miraidon, you just get one Miraidon and an electricity generator and hit it for 3 energy. You're doing 220. The obviously you've got the electricity weakness 440. So that that's the
Gardevoir is
electricity.
Gardevoir sometimes it's max damage output if you're like on an average can be 330. So if you're taking 30 less, it's a lot of the a lot of the, like when you're fully powered up Zacian, maybe you've prized an energy somewhere else, and you're only hitting 330, then you're doing less. You're not knocking it out.
Definitely. No, looking forward to it though, and obviously it's good to see the original starters making an appearance in the new format. Okay, and moving on then, we've also got some more items and trainers that have been announced. So Snatch Arm, look at your opponent's hand, choose a Pokemon you find there, put it at the bottom of your opponent's deck. If your opponent, say for example, Iridas in anticipation of the next turn and pulls out the Blastoise or the Baxcalibur and a rare candy, but they can't do it because it's their first turn, and you Snatch Arm that Baxcalibur all the way to the bottom, that was some disruption, which could be quite good. But yeah, I don't wonder if it'll see any play, but it helps obviously for disruption in the long game. The next one is Leftovers. This one's a Pokemon tool, which obviously have different categories now. So if a Pokemon this card is attached to is your active Pokemon at the end of your turn, heal 20 damage from that Pokemon. Pretty cool. I like it. It obviously harks back to the game, which we used Leftovers back in Sword and Shield quite a lot, if you remember when we were doing raid dens. So that was pretty cool. And think about a Honchkrow V, which lets you attach up to, is it 5?
Or
is it 4? Is it 4? Is it? So if you put 4 Leftovers on, you're healing 80 energy each turn. 80 health each turn if you put 4 Leftovers on. But again, someone will make a mad deck, so we will definitely wait and see. But again, good to see some more. I don't think this will be a game changer. Maybe, I don't know. It might be good for some maybe Guardy. But again, most of the time when you're loading energy with Guardy, you're
getting knocked out.
You're kind of getting knocked out. I suppose it will be quite good against Lost Box if you
can maybe
put forward and just we've got to be active, so it's got to be the active Pokemon. So it's it's not as good as say Radiant Serena, where that's every turn. So I wonder if it'll see some play, but it'll be interesting. Then we've got another trainer. So the trainer is Erica's Invitation. Your opponent reveals their hand. You choose a basic Pokemon you find there and put it on their bench. Then switch in that Pokemon to the active spot. Pretty cool. I quite like that.
Yeah,
I quite like that. I wonder if
it's like a echoing horn with another step.
With the gust.
With the gust.
With the gust.
I might be squeezing that into Mew. For all you Drapion holders.
Exactly. Yeah. Someone hold the Drapion to
Last City, Erica's invitation. Get rid of that Drapion.
Yeah, it's I think that's gonna be really good. I think that'll see some play. I'll definitely imagine if you've got like a lot of times you don't want to put too much on the bench because you want to wait for late game, etc. You know, sometimes it's an evolution. Most times evolution.
People always like leave a space for Luminion in case they need it, or
Luminion, Drapion, Radiant Pokemon if you don't want to put them down.
No, you can bench that Manaphy. It's fine.
Bench. Oh, yeah, exactly. Imagine if you put a Manaphy there, and then you kind of Erica's invitation, put the Manaphy on the bench, bring it forward, and then knock it out, and then all of a sudden you can Radiant Greninja, you can Moonlight Shuriken until the night ends. So yeah, that's obviously some of the news. We've also got some more Pokemon, even more that have been announced for the Pokemon card 151. So these ones focus more on the fossil Pokemon. So the two types we've got are Omastar and Kabutops. So Omastar obviously evolved from Omanyte. Omanyte evolves from the old Dome Fossil, which is a new card. Basically play this card as if it was a 60 HP basic Pokemon. It's like an unidentified fossil from Silver Tempest. But again, with Lugia, you never saw that play at all, apart from people who on live who didn't get, who got it as the opening hand. As their free deck, that's it, and then they use that. But yeah, it's I assume that you could probably rare candy for the old Dome Fossil into the Kabutops or the Omastar, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I think you can still do that.
Yeah, so again, rare candy's just going to see a lot more play now. But yeah, so the Omastar is stage 2. Water type, HP 150. Its ability is Primal Tentacles. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon can't retreat. So it's like Mawile Tempting Trap, but as an ability, which is pretty cool. And then it's 2 water energy, Aqua Split, 90 damage. As attack does 30 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon as well. So not bad actually. Nice little spreader. But the one I'm really excited about is Kabutops. So Kabutops, obviously stage 2 Pokemon, again evolved from Kabuto. HP 160. Its ability Ancient Logic. Apply weakness to your opponent's active Pokemon at times 4 instead of times 2. So all of a sudden, you those little single prize Pokemon that do little damage can all of a sudden potentially do some big knockouts, really. It also has for 3 energy, a fighting energy, and 2 colorless, Drain Slash, 100 damage, and heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. So quite a good Pokemon actually, and again it'll go well in a fighting deck. If you think this against a Miraidon would be quite good. What did you guys think of that? I think it's really cool. I think it's gonna be busted.
Oh yeah, it's definitely busted.
Yeah. What was the card that we were talking about before?
So the card that we were talking about before we started recording was obviously this potentially pairs with Kecleon, Rapid Strike Kecleon from Chilling Reign, because Kecleon's ability is Chroma Shift. But this Pokemon is the same type as any basic energy attached to it. And then in the brackets, if it has 2 or more different types of basic energy attached, this Pokemon is each of those types. And it also, for 3 energy, it hits 90. So spinning attack does 90. So if you think that you just put a lightning, a water, and a dark, and also you've got Kabutops on the bench, this can all of a sudden hit for 360 for weakness.
Could you let's read reversal energy. Can reversal energy be all energy at the same time, right? Or do you have to choose one?
You already played it.
I already played it. So reversal energy. This card provides every type of energy, but only 3 energy at a time. So does that mean that you get to choose each turn what energy it is? You can say, like you're playing against a fire deck. Okay, it's water. You're playing. Then he puts out Miraidon. You say, okay, it's fighting. Can you change it, or does it?
I don't actually know that.
So the card says it's the same type as any basic energy attached to it.
Oh, basic. Okay.
RTFC. There we go again.
Again.
But it is interesting to know if it does apply, but I don't think it makes a difference then, does it, to be honest?
I wonder if there's a world where is it Ho-Oh?
Yeah.
And then Thornton into Kecleon.
Yeah.
After you've attached all the energy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It
could be a good little rogue deck.
It could be. Yeah, no, it could be. Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah, I think it pairs really well, doesn't it? So it'd be interesting to see. But this Pokemon card 151 is looking good. It's looking good. So I think it's going to be a very, very popular set. So just before we move away from Pokemon card 151, there's actually another couple of cards. When I say couple, I literally mean a couple. So they released and officially revealed Staryu and Starmie. So the Staryu is 60 HP basic Pokemon, 2 energy, water and colorless, swift, first damage, isn't affected by resistance or weakness, etc., etc. But the Starmie is a HP of 90, stage 1 with the ability Aquatic Enigma. So once during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you placed any damage counters in this way, discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. And then it also does 50 damage as well.
Eventually, Zorobox will be good, and it just. But I don't know if it will be. But sounds like it's for Zorobox, to be honest. But yeah, maybe.
I think it's really good. If you pair this, with for Lost Box alongside not a Radiant Holucha, just normal Holucha from Scarlet and Violet, you can essentially put 30 damage onto one of your opponent's Pokemon with not much downside, because the Starmie gets put back into discarded.
Yeah.
So Starmie gets discarded, and then the Holucha's there anyway. So you put 30 onto that. If you've got 120 HP Pokemon, all of a sudden it's boom, fantastic for Moonlight Shuriken. Or if, for example, a chunkier Pokemon of 150 all of a sudden puts that into range for Sableye. Again, it depends. If the Holucha is seeing play to try and reduce, the Comfys down to 64. For Sableye.
Yeah.
So I think this potentially could see some play as well.
You could actually do it a lot because it's rescue carrier a bull,
and you can find it off a level ball as well.
Yeah. So if you have 2 Staryus on the bench and you use Starmie on one, then you discard it, and you evolve the Staryu and do it again, discard it. But then you put the Staryu that you rescue carried first on the bench. You just do it again.
It's only once during your turn.
No, once during a turn, but only because.
Yeah, you just cycle it, wouldn't you?
Just cycle it.
Can you still cycle it? Yeah.
Yeah, like when you use Scoop Up Net.
Yeah.
The artwork's awesome as well.
The artwork
artwork's awesome. It's actually a new. Some people were saying on Twitter that it looks like quite a renowned Pokemon artist, but it's actually a brand new artist. So Arai Kiriko. So again, it's cool to see that Pokemon are also getting some new artists on board, and the art's just amazing. The art is absolutely phenomenal, and I think the art from all the cards. I think the official Pokemon TCG Twitter account also shared the artwork for the Tyranitar coming in Paldea Evolved. Have you seen that? It looks phenomenal. Yeah. It looks absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, it's it's a good time. It's a good and expensive time to be a Pokemon TCG player or collector. So it is that one, yeah. It's so cool. I want that. It's one of my chase cards from Paldea Evolved. Even though I might not even play it, I love the look of it. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Final card that was announced for Pokemon 151 from this mad week of reveals is a stadium card. So it's Cycling Road, which is really cool because if you look, it basically looks like the cycling road from the actual game, which is really cool. It's a Kato card as well.
What was it called? The road
was not just called. It was not.
I think it was it a route
5 or something? I can't remember what route it was.
Yeah.
Trying to think now.
It was just after you get the bike, wasn't it? Just south. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't
I can't remember. I've not played the base games in a long time. I'm just actually replaying Soul Silver at the moment, so I'm really enjoying that. I forgot how good that game actually is. I think it's one of the best. I think it is the best Pokemon game they've ever made. But anyway, that's a tangent. Going back to Cycling Road, the stadium.
Just Googled it.
Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a basic energy card from their hand. If they do, that player draws a card. So that is an automatic entry into a Gardevoir deck. That's a Guardy deck. That is a Guardy deck.
Is it worth playing this over Greninja? Because I do love using Greninja. It's really useful, but it is annoying having a water Pokemon there that I can't put energy on or do anything else with.
I wonder what would you potentially? I suppose you could potentially put Radiant Serena in instead to heal some damage every turn.
I don't want to. I want to use a Pokemon that I can. I just want to use Psychic Pokemon that I can't. That I don't have the like the risk of getting stuck there.
God, has Phil really scarred you that much?
No, it's not that. It's not just that. It's like you say using Cresselia, and it's one less Pokemon that I can Cresselia with. So yeah, I think it's.
I know what you're saying, but if you're getting rid of Radiant, the reason you have Radiant Greninja is for the draw. If you're getting rid of the draw because you're able to get obviously essentially Cycling Road in place, although it only draws one. I think Radiant Serena to heal some damage off you each turn, so you can get more damage loaded onto your Pokemon.
The next best thing for sure, but Radiant Greninja is just too good.
No, definitely is. It's one of the best cards in game, and also I think it's one of the most played cards at the moment. I think it's one of the best attackers in game as well, to be fair. So, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. I mean, I can't wait to see what they're going to call it from in the English side, and I can't wait to get an actual date as well when it's released, because I'm really looking forward to it. So
151.
Yes, Pokemon. It's called Pokemon.
Hopefully, we get some alt art of the starters as well.
Yeah. Although, none have been. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's only a month and a little bit away from full release in Japan. So, we'll cover that, and we'll obviously let everyone know. Hopefully, we get some really, really cool products from it. So, moving on to the last bit of news before we wrap up, it has been announced today on May the 3rd, date of recording, that Pokemon Trading Card Game Online is finally being sunset. So it's been sunset on June the 5th, and that means Pokemon Trading Card Game Live is now coming out of beta.
Did everyone get their
I can hear everyone absolutely saying, fantastic. Oh, I can't wait. Been a bit of a show, hasn't it?
Yeah, so it's been in beta for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years.
I don't see what coming out of beta actually is changing it. Like, you come out of beta when you're finished, like when it's ready, when it's complete, and can't see it being complete.
Massively ongoing project.
Yeah.
I mean, at the minute, all that's changed is there's now a big giant rubbishly like rendered Pokeball on the top of the home screen when you load. That's the only thing that's changed.
Yeah,
I don't think we're going to see any major UI changes, any kind of like differences in the animations and difference. Like, I think that's set. I think that's set for that.
And realistically, all I ever see is no improvements. They're just fixing the bugs from the previous build.
Well, then they're breaking other stuff at the same time.
Well, that's it. Yes, then the next patch will then fix the previous patch's stuff. I'm indifferent on this. Obviously, I have migrated over, unfortunately, and I will miss TCG Online. I will miss it. I think it was great. It ran really well. But
I don't think I ever encountered a bug on TCGO apart from the ones where it says like, this card has been disabled because there's a bug.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think of it, but I've encountered so many bugs in life, so many, and there's a new one where, like before with Gardevoir, you couldn't accelerate energy, or you could, and then sometimes it just wouldn't work, and then you'd just be left not being able to do anything. But so they fixed that in the latest update that came out yesterday. But they've introduced a new bug, and the new bug is you can't accelerate.
You say that like they've done it on purpose.
But it's just ridiculous. Like the new bug is that if you evolve your Curlier into a Gardevoir and it's in the active, you can't accelerate energy to it. If it's in the active, you can only accelerate to bench Pokemon.
It's shocking, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's not good. But all is not lost, everyone, because if you log on to live between May the 2nd and June the 6th, you will receive a special gift that includes a unique global beta coin, deck box, and card sleeves, so you can show off to all your friends that you were in part of the global beta for the past 2 years. So we look forward to that. I don't want to dwell too much time on it because we've talked quite a bit on this week. But it's gonna be awful. It's not gonna be good. I think the developers have underwhelmed. I think everyone's underwhelmed with how poor the client is, and the bugs just keep getting worse and worse and ridiculous. I mean, it's having impacts now on a lot of tournaments. So Zach Lesage does a lot of late night tournaments. Yeah. He's had to postpone some because of how bad live is.
Yeah,
it's not good. It's really, really not good. But yeah, we will definitely obviously keep you updated. Hope you all enjoy the special global beta gifts, which I'm sure you'll show off when you can log on or when you can actually get a game. So moving on then, this would be the time where we probably do RTFC. However, I think in this episode we've had about 4 of them or 5 of them. So I think the RTFC will be Blastoise EX for my side. We've also got Kecleon. We've got Kecleon.
Reversal Energy.
Reversal Energy. Jet Energy, because we had to make sure it's from hand. So we had to speak a lot about and also read a lot of cards because we're players. We're definitely players. But yeah, I think really that's it this week. Another episode absolutely flown by. Some more news, and I think next week we come back. Obviously, we're 1 week closer to pre-release, which is scary. We'll have also been to a League Challenge Cup on the bank holiday weekend, which we'll be looking forward to. Obviously, let you know how we get on there, and obviously some of the players that are on. And then obviously we're another week to when we get our guest on. So Sean from FTW TCG, he is coming on. We're just firming the date up, and again, once we know the definite date, we will post it on our Twitter and all our social media channels. So again, I want to thank everyone for listening. It's been another week flown by, and I can look forward to next week's episode. If you want to catch our episodes, the best place to catch them is always on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, we're at Training Court TCG. You can listen on Podbean, which is thetrainingcourt.podbean.com. Podbean also feeds over to Apple iTunes podcasts and also Spotify. So again, if you type in Training Court TCG on Apple Podcast or Training Court TCG podcast on the Spotify app, you'll be able to listen to us. Again, while you're there, especially on YouTube or on any of the other platforms, please give us a like, give us a subscribe, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to cover. But to keep in touch with us, the best place to is always on our social media channels. So we post regularly on our Instagram account, which is at Training Court TCG, and we're also on Twitter as well, which is at Training Court. I want to thank Andy, Cath, and Al for joining me again this week, and we look forward to speaking to you all next week. Take care, guys.
See ya. Thank you.
Bye.